Hi, this is Brendan Davis from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and I'm just going to do some short audio podcasts on different rules in Wandering Heroes of Ogre, Strange Tales of Songling, and Righteous Blood, Ruthless Blades, as well as some of the other games that we've been working on. I get a lot of questions about the rules, and these are just really simple clarifications. So today I want to cover the difference between defenses and regular skills and how those operate in the game. So for those who don't know, all characters are based around skills. One group of skills are called defenses, and those are static numbers. They don't produce any dice that you roll. They're just a flat number that's used as your defense when somebody attacks you or tries to do something against you. And regular skills and all the other groups, like your physical skills, your combat skills, your knowledge skills, those are all usually between rank 0 and 3, and each rank you have gives you a d10 to roll. So it's fairly straightforward. So as an example, if you have light melee and you have 2 ranks in it, then you're rolling 2d10. If you have a 6 in your hardiness, then you don't roll 6d10. You use that number when people try to roll damage against you to determine whether you take a wound or not. So it's really straightforward. At character creation, it varies by system. So like in Strange Tales of Songling, there are flat defense ratings that everybody gets based on their path. In Wandering Heroes of Ogre, it's a little bit more involved. So all of the defenses have a base, and so the base for the sort of more combat-y defenses, hardiness, evade, and parry, those are 3, and the base for the more subterfuge and intellectual defenses of stealth, wits, and resolve, those have a base of 6. And at character creation, for each skill group, you are allowed to select it as primary or secondary. You get a certain number of primaries to assign. And if it's a primary skill group, you get 12 points. If it's a secondary, you get 6 points. So with defenses, if you chose those as your secondary skill group, you would get 6 additional points to put into those defenses. However, it's not like a it's not a 1-to-1 amount. You have to look at the skill table, which is on page 31, and that'll tell you the cost based on how many ranks you're taking. So if you take 3 ranks in a skill, it's going to cost you 6 points. So just as an example. So if you selected defenses as your as your secondary skill group, then you effectively have a max of 3 ranks that you could pop into any of them, or you could mix it up, because if you take 1 skill rank, it costs 1 point. If you take 2, it only costs 3. So if you were to take 2 rank 2s, you could swing that with just 6 points, for example. And so you might take 2 points in hardiness, and if you add that to your base, that's going to give you a 5, and maybe 2 points in parry, and if you add that to your base, it's going to give you a 5 as well. And that's going to cost you 6 points total. In addition to that, every rank that you advance, you get 1 point to add to any of your defenses, and that starts at Chi rank 1. So at character creation step 1, when you're Chi rank 1, when you're making your character, you do have 1 additional point to spend. So just as an example, you might throw that into stealth, and that would give you a 7 stealth, which would give you a total of 6 hardiness, 3 evade, 6 parry, 7 stealth, 6 wits, and 6 resolve, because you basically just added points to hardiness, parry, and stealth. And then if you wanted to keep investing points in stealth every level, maybe at level 2 you boost that stealth to 8, and then at level 3 you boost it to 9, and you now have a 9 stealth. So that's how those work. And I just want to emphasize again, they are static numbers. They're not. You do not roll defenses. Now, if a GM wants to rule for whatever reason that you can roll your defenses because they want you to be able to actively use stealth or something to that effect, that's fine. But that's completely a ruling. That's not in the rules. That's not something that is part of how the game works. It was very intentionally designed to have static defenses where you are rolling your skills against them. And the basic reason for that was to keep the game fast. And that's especially important in a game like Ogre, where the game gets slowed down by the amount of kung fu techniques and the amount of counters that people are rolling. So you really want to make sure that the defenses are all being used to static numbers, that you're using the skill table. Again, I should reemphasize this. There's a skill table on page 31 of the Wandering Heroes of Ogre rulebook. If you go to that, it shows you the cost at each rank of the skills. If you're having any trouble with this, just go to the bedrockgames.net website and you can download our app, the Bedrock Companion app, and you can make characters in there, and that'll kind of help you with the with how it works. You can do it randomly, or I think there's an option to do it manually as well. And also, Adam is putting up, I think I put up an initial link on the Bedrock blog, sort of beginners reference pages for Ogre Gate and Strange Tales of Songling. So yeah, and again, and then with the other skills, those are all active skills. So defenses we call static skills, just a raw number. The remaining skills are all active skills, and those are all every rank you have in each one is the amount of D10 that you roll. So if you have muscle, when you're trying to lift up something, and say you have 2 ranks in muscle, you're going to roll 2d10 muscle. If you have no ranks in something, that's considered 0d10, which is unskilled, and unskilled rolls, you roll 2d10 and you take the single lowest result. So if you have no ranks in muscle, you would roll 2d10, and if you got a 7 and a 4, you would take the 4. If you have 2 ranks and you roll a 7 and a 4, you would take the 7. So that's just basically the way it works. It's meant to be pretty speedy. And yeah, so I think that's essentially all I wanted to talk about this time. I will be back on with additional rules clarifications. This is the first one, so hopefully, I didn't forget something or misspeak about the rules. But if you have any further questions, feel free to send them to me. You can contact me, on the blog or on our website. There's a variety of means to contact us. Probably the website's probably the best way to do it. And I'll hopefully be back on with more rules clarifications, because I do get a lot of these and I like answering these questions.